Hello everyone, this is Vivian, and today I just want you to imagine in the times, the before times, before COVID, when things were normal, the old normal. Just imagine you're in New York City, you're downtown on the Lower East Side at this trendy bar. You walk into the bar, you head over to, the bar where all the drinks are, where the bartender is, all of that. And the bartender greets you by saying, "Hello, handsome," or "Hello, beautiful. Pick your poison." And, at first it might not seem like much. Pick your poison, but that is actually a very loaded question or phrase, really. So you might be thinking in this scenario at this bar, it's just you have to pick between, let's say, oh my gosh, Pinot Noir or Rosé, right? And so that's the big dilemma that you're faced with there. But really, it's way more than that. And we use this phrase throughout our culture all the time, pick your poison. The most obvious, what do you call it? Situation that people use it in, I guess, is when it comes to alcohol. That's the most obvious one. And so, actually, the phrase itself, pick your poison, it dates back to the mid 19th century, which is my favorite time period, right? Oh my God, I love corsets, all of that. It's amazing. So, I tried to fit the theme of what I'm talking about today. I try to do that with my outfits. But anyway, the phrase pick your poison originated from the mid 19th century when poison was used as a slang term for alcoholic beverages. And of course, everyone was aware of the negative effects of excessive alcohol consumption. And actually, in some places around the world, such as in Australia in particular, the bars, the pubs, they were more so pubs then, they were actually called poison shops, which is interesting, right? And as we all should know and be aware of by now, whether you do consume alcohol or not, it is, of course, a poison. It acts as a poison on your body, on your system, and it's not great for our health. So again, not judging you if you consume alcoholic beverages, but please, again, just maybe acknowledge that it's not great for you. It's a poison. And I guess I went with the Pinot Noir at the bar on the Lower East Side that I was talking about. But actually, this is just hibiscus tea. I know it probably doesn't even look dark enough to be like Pinot Noir, and Pinot Noir, I guess, is darker. And really, I'm not an expert in alcohol since I'm sober, but I thought I would just bring this in as a nice prop. Plus, I like hibiscus tea. This is my poison of choice for the evening, for the night. Well, it's 1 a.m. right now when I'm filming this. So yeah, night. It's late night. Another late night video from me. Yeah, so okay. So other than alcohol, there are many other poisons that we are faced with every day. We're just bombarded with all of these poisons, physical poisons, psychological poisons, spiritual poisons. They're all around us. And many people do pick a poison, whether it's alcohol or something else. So I do want to start off with the big one, that the alcohol, the most obvious one. And as I mentioned in a previous video, um, one of them, okay, why I love being weird and never want to be normal. I mentioned that people have thought and do think that I'm a freaking weirdo because I just, for the fact alone that I am sober and do not want to consume alcohol and don't consume alcohol. So they think I'm crazy for that, right? Which is so odd to me and I think very backwards. But my experience with alcohol in social situations is that when I would be the only sober one, which was like pretty much all the time, you know, everyone at these events, at these parties, whatever, they would all be drinking alcohol. I'm not saying that everyone there was alcoholics or everyone who consumes alcohol is an alcoholic. Some people do consume it in more moderation. But again, as a very health conscious person, also as an HSP, which is a highly sensitive person, and I might talk about being a highly sensitive person in another video. I cannot discuss everything right now in this video, but being a highly sensitive person, which is, that's when, it's not a disorder. It's not a disorder. It's just when someone has a nervous system that is very highly wired and extremely sensitive to external stimuli, like in the environment, physically, emotionally, psychologically, everything, you know, sensitive to food, sensitive to bright lights, loud noises, you know, you get having an emotional experience to music, like a very, you know, profound experience, things like that. But anyway, one of the components, I guess, or traits of being an HSP is the sensitivity to, like I said, foods and substances, all of that, things that you consume. So again, that is also one of the reasons why I have been extremely health conscious for most of my life. Probably since I was about 13, 14 years old, I've been like very much health conscious. And so I was never into alcohol. I did try it. You know, my parents let me way back when at family gatherings, just a tiny bit, you know, just like when people were toasting, you know, cheers type of stuff. And I just hated it. I absolutely did not like the taste. It made me feel sick. It, like, made me feel nauseous. It was just, it didn't taste good to me. And so I also didn't feel good even with like a small amount. I was like, well, this is pointless. I don't need this, whatever. But that's just me. So anyway, fast forward to when I'm older and I'm at these parties and social events. So I would say social events more than parties because I wasn't really a party person, but social events, social gatherings, it's even like networking events, professional networking events. And there would always be alcoholic beverages present. And I would just be there like, no drink in my hand, nothing. I mean, maybe water, but if they had it sometimes. But people would just be so shocked, again, that I don't consume alcohol. And at first, I was really uncomfortable. And I was still uncomfortable even after I realized what I'm about to say. But yeah, I realized that the people, these other people who were consuming alcohol, some of whom were consuming alcohol with the intention of getting drunk, they were uncomfortable with me being sober. Because my realization was that these people needed to drink, not because they necessarily wanted to or they loved the taste. A lot of times I would see people just downing these like shots or whatever, and like with this horrible look on their face, like it tasted like crap and just it tasted so bad, because it does to me. It's like, it's not a nice tasting thing. And so it would be because they were uncomfortable with themselves in these social situations, and they felt that they needed the alcohol to sort of loosen up, or like as an excuse to do sort of out there things, or things that they might not do while they were sober. And it was just a way for them to be comfortable with themselves, and also as an escape from who they really are. So if they weren't comfortable being themselves, they needed an escape from that. And also, a lot of times people drink when they're having a bad day, right? Like you've all heard this. So someone's having a bad day and they're like, "Oh God, I need a drink." And so it's kind of like it's supposed to wash away all of your worries and all of these bad things that are going on or whatever. But in reality, even though uh, it might for the moment while you are drinking that, and shortly afterwards, in the long run, you're just gonna feel much worse. You're gonna have more problems. You're probably gonna wake up hungover. You're going to down the line develop health issues with your liver, and it's just a toxic buildup of this poison. Like I said, it really is a poison, and we have to look at alcohol as that, as a serious poison. And just because it's so widely accepted in our culture, like socially and everything, doesn't mean that we have to think that it's not as bad as it is. Because alcohol is a drug, just like other drugs that we consider to be, like hard drugs or street drugs. It is. And it's very dangerous. People get behind the wheel, drunk driving. It kills. It's very dangerous and harmful. It really has destroyed and continues to destroy people's lives in many ways, and it's very unfortunate. But just because people need this escape, and every poison that people choose is sort of a means of escape for them from their own reality, from their own selves as people. And like they want this substance or this external thing to make them feel better, and they don't want to take the time to reflect on themselves and go inwards, and just do the work that they need to do on themselves, on their situations, whatever it is. So yeah, that is alcohol. That is one poison that we are surrounded with. And well, this is one that is not, I'm going to list a bunch of modern poisons that we have that are also like addictions, because poisons are addictive in many cases. So, because of the experience that it provides to people develop that dopamine reaction, and like they think they need it again. But alcohol has been around for a long time, way before the mid 19th century. It's been around for so long. So that has been a poison that has been in human society for as long as we can remember, right? For most of our human existence, probably. For in more modern years, like I really don't know when alcohol was first developed. I'm not an expert on that. I really don't know. But it of course has been around for centuries. So, yeah. And there's, like I said, I'm going to list more modern poisons as well that we have now in the 21st century. and in 2021. So another one that we have that's not necessarily a very modern one that has been around for some time is caffeine. And that's not just in the form of coffee, but there are other means of consuming caffeine, be it in soft drinks like sodas or energy drinks, and it's all around. It's everywhere, and people are so reliant. Many people are super reliant on caffeine in order to get them through the day. They need that cup of coffee to wake up in the morning, or else they can't function, they think. Or maybe they really can't. Maybe they, once they're so dependent on it, and maybe they really do need that to get them through it. And caffeine addiction can also be harmful. Of course, it's not as, I guess, not as destructive as the alcohol one, but it is still problematic if you need that substance every morning to get you through your day, or else you just can't function, or you're like, oh, don't talk to me until I've had my morning cup of coffee. Because a lot of people are like that. If you watched my previous videos, you know that I used to live in New York City and recently moved last year because of what's going on with CV and the lockdowns and everything. But in New York is a city that really runs on coffee. Like there's coffee everywhere. Everyone's walking around in the subway with their cup of coffee. Like, New Yorkers really love their coffee. It's a big thing. And I've never been a coffee drinker either, because I have tried coffee and I like the smell. I like the taste. If it's a good one, a higher quality one. But it's just I can't do it. Like, oh, 1717. I just I love when I see my birthday number all the time, because I was born on the 17th of September. So I just noticed it's like my meter on my phone, not my meter, my time, it's saying how long this video is. I can't believe we're already at over 17 minutes. But what was I saying? I've been seeing 22 a lot lately too. I don't know why. Or 222. Don't know why. But anyway, I digress. So again, this does go back to me being an HSP, a highly sensitive person, and being very sensitive and reactive to things and substances. And I just can't drink non-decaf coffee, like regular coffee. I do drink decaf coffee sometimes. It has to be decaf though, because whenever I've tried to drink regular coffee, and it doesn't matter if it's organic or whatever, it just doesn't sit well with me. It makes me feel like I'm going crazy. It gives me so much anxiety, like tremors, like it makes me feel extremely nervous, and just like I have palpitations. I get heart palpitations. So of course I don't drink it. But like people need that. People need that in the morning, their cup of coffee. And I'm not saying that it's terrible if you do, or that you're some kind of terrible person if you need that cup of coffee, but maybe try to see if you can go without your cup of coffee, your daily cup of coffee, and caffeine in general. Because caffeine withdrawal is definitely a thing, but yeah, you can slowly taper it back. Maybe if you have more than one cup of coffee a day, maybe just lower the amount that you have. Maybe if you have like 2 cups or 3 cups, you can lower it down. You can get down to 1 cup. If you have 1 cup, you can slowly wean yourself off of that. And maybe you could get decaf coffee instead of regular coffee, in order to wean yourself off of that slowly, so that it's not as much of a shock for your system. but also you can then drink herbal tea and all of that kind of stuff. And tea, if it's green tea, black tea, white tea, it does still have some caffeine. And I do drink tea. I drink a lot of herbal tea, but I also drink the caffeinated tea. And it's of course just not as much caffeine as uh as coffee, right? Or as much as there is like in energy drinks and all of that kind of thing. And I know people who have done this, who have weaned themselves off of caffeine and have like quit. Some people who have quit cold turkey, and they've had really good experiences with it. While it might have been difficult at first to do it, it in the long run, they ended up feeling so much better, and like just they experienced tons of benefits. So if you're over consuming caffeine, coffee, again, maybe see if you can go without it, or do it less, drink less of it, right? So yeah, let me check my notes here. The next poison that we have here, the poison that we have in our society is, cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine. These are all, tobacco, nicotine. It's very addictive. And a lot of people, once they start smoking, it's extremely difficult for them to quit. So I know many people who have been trying, like honest to God, trying to or wanting to quit smoking for many, many years. But they don't. I've known some people who have actually quit, and that's like, it honestly is a really big accomplishment. It's really great for people who have quit. But it takes a lot to quit, because again, there's a withdrawal, and it's so addictive. A lot of people who smoke, it might be stress related. They might have an oral fixation where they need that comfort, not necessarily even of the nicotine or tobacco itself, but just like, I mean, I'm not gonna say what I was just about to say, because I know people would like really take that the wrong way. But basically, you get the idea of people having an oral fixation, and that could stem back perhaps to childhood, and could have to do with stress and providing them comfort, to do that. But yeah, it's widely accepted that people smoke. I've seen tons of people who smoke who wear masks like all the time. Like they're some of my neighbors who smoke. They go out for a walk to walk their dog, whatnot, all of that, and they wear a mask out in the fresh air when they're out by themselves with their pet dog or maybe with some family members. And yet at the same time, they're out smoking on the porch or whatever. And I don't know, I guess they're so concerned about their health, right? But just like, I don't know, it just confuses me. But smoking is so widely accepted, and I personally, again, this goes back also to being an HSP. I cannot be around people who are smoking. I cannot handle it. I feel like I am suffocating, and the smell is horrendous to me. The smell of cigars, especially. I don't know if any of you have ever been around any cigar smoking. That smell just kills me. It is horrendously awful. Like, just so bad. Yeah, it's terrible. And but even with regular cigarettes, that's bad enough too. And it affects people who are around the person or people who are smoking, because, you know, secondhand smoke, all of that, and that causes health effects for the people who are there as well. And, you know, we all know by now, by the year 2021, we know the harmful effects of smoking, the lung damage, the cardiovascular damage, the damage on a cellular level, on all levels, like even on a more superficial level, like the skin aging and everything. We know that by now. And yet a lot of people who continue to smoke, I guess they don't really care because of the comfort that this particular poison provides for them. Yeah, and again, cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine, that's all just as bad. It's as bad as alcohol and everything, because it can destroy lives as well. Okay, lung cancer is not fun. Emphysema is not fun. Even premature aging is not fun. Okay, so I think we can all realize that. I hope so. You know, maybe if someone who is watching this video is a smoker, and if I can convince you to perhaps attempt to quit smoking, at least to attempt to, or maybe, you know, think that it might be worth considering to quit smoking, then that is great, and I will be extremely happy. Because again, I don't like being around people who smoke, and I don't like seeing parents smoke when their children are there, you know, their young children and babies are with them in the same room or the same vicinity, and they're just there smoking, and it just drives me crazy. I can't deal with that. Yeah. So okay, the next addiction that I have here on my list, and by the way, these are not in any particular order necessarily. These are just as they came to me when I was making the notes for this video. So the next one, the next poison that we have is sex. And so when I say sex, okay, Valentine's Day is coming up, and I plan on doing a whole video on the topic of sex, but because it has to be done. Okay, in my opinion, it has to be done, and I will do it. Okay, and I'm holding myself accountable now that I said that I'm gonna do a video on sex. I'm gonna do a video on sex, talking about sex. But anyway, when I talk about sex as a poison or addiction, I'm talking about unhealthy sex where, you know, people who are perhaps nymphomaniacs, people who are just, they want it at all, like no matter what, just they're gonna go after it regardless of the consequences. And also just like, you know, where it's just the hookup thing, that they're just going from hookup to hookup, all of this meaningless casual sex, that kind of thing. They're just like, you know, one night I'm gonna be with this person, then like 2 hours later I'm going over and doing it with this other person, then I'm like the next day I have like 3 more people that I'm gonna be doing that with. So that's not very healthy, right? And it can definitely become a problem then. I'm not talking about sex in a healthy relationship, absolutely not. But yeah, people who just are gonna have it no matter what, they've just got to have it where it takes over their lives. You know what I mean? It's not great. And also another addiction that comes along with this one, it's part and parcel of this one in our modern world, is the porn poison. So a lot of people, both men and women in our current society are addicted to porn because it's prevalent, it's everywhere, it's all over the internet. Like, it's all over the place. And so, okay, confession time. When I was 19 years old, there was probably about 1 week when I was 19 years old. This was like the spring of my sophomore year of college, and I became addicted to porn for about 1 week, just a week. It kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't actively looking for it. I was not. I was watching TV, like Showtime, Cinemax, whatever, just like movies and stuff, like regular movies, TV shows, what have you. And then at a certain hour, like late night, probably around the time that I'm filming this video now, like 1, 2 a.m., they would have pornographic content come on. And like, I didn't know that when I was watching it. Like, I really didn't. And like, it would come on. Like, at first, I was really like interested in it. I was like, okay, well, this is new. This is different. Because the thing is that when I was 19, like at that age, at that time in my life, I had never had sex before in my life. I'd never experienced that. So I think a part of me was that I was curious about it. It was like, okay, so, I learned about the biological aspects of it in school and all of that. But, I wanted to, I guess, experience it vicariously through these people and in these pornographic films or whatever. And so I was sort of like into it for about a week. I would watch it like late night. And just, yeah, it was when I got out of that, there was just something that snapped in me. I was like, okay, well, I think I've had enough. It was like getting old to me. It was like, I don't know, just also the way that the relationships were portrayed there, the way that women were portrayed there. Like, it wasn't very loving. It wasn't good. It wasn't like healthy relationships. It was just like people randomly having sex. So I was like done with it. But again, there was just that 1 week where I was into it. But a lot of people, unfortunately, do not get out of it. They continue to watch it and to give their life force and energy to it, if you get what I'm saying, because I know you do. I know you're all smart enough to understand where I'm going with this. Okay, so first of all, that is a waste of energy when you're doing that all the time like that, like, and looking at other people doing that. And you can't live vicariously through other people like that. Like, you have to go out there and do it yourself, like, in a healthy way, hopefully. But hopefully. But it's just, I can definitely see, based on my own experience with it, how it can be addictive and very you just very like all consuming in a way, which it happens to a lot of people. Relationships could be destroyed because of this, people's lives. And I think especially for a lot of men who are into it, again, their life force is being drained from them through these activities. And also the awful thing about it is that when people, whether it's a man or a woman, when people are so into this and they're watching this all the time, and their expectations for sex, like in real life, are just, it's like what's presented to them in these porn films or whatever. And just, they can't enjoy the real experience. And a lot of people have trouble performing in real situations because of their porn addictions. So yeah, and it's also, it's horrifying that like kids are being exposed to this, and kids are watching this too. I remember actually the first time I ever saw something pornographic, I think I was like probably 12 years old, and I wasn't seeking this out at all. I was at a friend's house, and like she saw something on the computer. I don't know if what she was looking for or whatever, but she like showed it to me, and I was like in complete shock at that age. I was honestly like a bit traumatized, to be honest with you. Um and that's also like 12. That's too young to even be exposed to something like that. Kids are not ready. Um like I said, I felt like even at 19 I was not ready. And it's good that I didn't do that whole college thing that a lot of people end up doing in our society, where they're just like, they go hooking up with all these bunch of people. I'm very glad that I stayed away from that at that age. And if you are a younger person who is watching this video, I'm just, kind of trying to give you some advice as someone who is still young, but a little bit older. So, I know how it is, because I was there not too long ago, and I'm just telling you that you should never give in to the peer pressure and the expectations that other people have for you when it comes to something as personal and as intimate as that. So, yes, that is that one. The next one that we have here is drugs. And by drugs, I mean both, hard illegal drugs like cocaine, crack, meth, all of that, and prescription drugs and pharmaceuticals. So it's horrible that in our society, the second one, the pharmaceutical drugs, they're very much widely accepted, and like it's totally okay that people are hooked on these drugs and all of that. Like it's great, I mean, not great, but it's not, most people don't view it as problematic that either they themselves or their loved ones, their friends, or just other people in general are hooked on these pharmaceutical drugs, sometimes for life, because they're very addictive. And then they view street drugs as just being these horrible things when, like I said, in reality, they're both equally bad. In my opinion, they're both equally bad. And we should do our best to stay away from all of them. I'm very much into homeopathic and natural remedies, like, healthy diet, herbs, supplements, things like that. And going that route rather than going straight to the pharmaceuticals and getting hooked on those, because I personally have had loved ones who have experienced extremely detrimental effects from pharmaceutical drugs. I don't have that much experience with, the illegal drugs, but I used to work with some people a few years ago where most of these people, they were not able to work unless they took some kind of drug, like I think for most of them it was marijuana, which, that's not necessarily illegal depending on what state you're in. but just they wouldn't be able to work unless they were high. And so that kind of dependency is really problematic, and like nobody should be that dependent on a substance in order to function, which is a lot of what this is about. A lot of this is about substances and being able to function. A lot of these poisons, not all though, but yeah. So illegal drugs or legal pharmaceutical drugs, they're one and the same. And just let's stay away from them, maybe, right? Just the thought, you know, just putting it out there as a friendly suggestion. Okay, so the next addiction that we have here is one that maybe some people might not be familiar with. It might not be as widespread, but it's still like I have seen people with issues when it comes to this, and this one is gambling. So that's the poison of gambling. And like I personally know someone who is sort of, or used to be, addicted to buying lottery tickets. Like all the time they would buy lottery tickets, just like, you know, hoping to win. Oh yeah, they'd win that Powerball, whatever. And you know, of course they never won because I mean the odds are insane, right? And there's also a whole curse of the lotto thing too that I've heard about, where people who do win, it's like, I don't know, they have a lot of bad things happen to them. Who knows if that's true or not, but hey, you know, anything can happen. But yeah, so okay, what was I saying? Oh my gosh, it's late. But yeah, and gambling can be destructive, of course, because you're spending all this money with the hopes of winning much more money. But it's like, I don't know, I think a lot of people who have a gambling addiction, they don't really realize how the odds are against them, you know what I mean? Like they just think that like, oh yeah, you know, and it makes them feel good to like gamble, blah blah blah. Like you know, I'm in New Jersey, and here this isn't near where I live, but in the other part of New Jersey, down south here, we have Atlantic City, which is a gambling haven. It's like the Las Vegas of New Jersey. And I've been there many times before in my life. I've never gambled. Most of the time, I was there before I was 21, so I wasn't even old enough. But even after I turned 21, it wasn't interesting to me. I never wanted to gamble, never saw the point. But I mean, it's still fun to go there. I don't know about now with what's going on. But in the before times, it was, you know, a fun trip from time to time to get away, and like they have the beach there and everything. So it was fun to me to go sometimes for reasons not related to gambling. Oh my gosh, wow, we're already at like 43 minutes. I feel like I just started this video. Time goes by so quickly. Well, I guess time flies when you're having fun, right? Yeah, so gambling is definitely problematic. When I'm in a car driving, I mean, I haven't been out of the house really in a while, but there would be a lot of billboards along the highway, like saying things like, got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, and things like that. So I don't know if Gamblers Anonymous is a thing like Alcoholics Anonymous is, but it definitely ruins lives as well, this poison of gambling. So the next one that we have is a problem that I have. It's one of my poisons, and this is the internet / smartphones, all of that sort of thing, technology. Well, Well, one of the reasons why smartphones are addictive is because we have the internet on them. So if it was just a regular phone, like how we used to have, like those flip phones where it was just for calling and texting, I'm sure it wouldn't be as addictive. But a lot of people, oh my gosh, are of all ages, are completely hooked on their smartphones, and they're always on their phones, always. Like, I mean, I have this issue too where, like, I've never done this where I'm out with someone and talking to someone and like I'll be on my phone at the same time. Like, I don't do stuff like that. But I'm just on my phone a lot, checking emails, things like that, looking at all of like the messages and notifications that I have sometimes, and it can be really overwhelming. And just, yeah, it's like, for me, I think it's an addiction to information more than anything else, because a lot of times I'll be on my phone like looking for stuff, like maybe trying to research stuff and like delve into stuff. But people are also addicted to social media. And for social media, this is again part of the smartphone slash internet addiction. Like, this is all about instant gratification too, because like people are posting their thirst trap photos on social media, hoping that like all these people like their photos or their videos, and like it's just when they see all these likes and these comments, like, oh my god, you're so sexy, you're so beautiful, you're so hot, all of that. Like, people are like, oh my god, I really am. Maybe, but a lot of times they don't even think that they are, right? They still have doubts themselves, but they need that instant gratification and that validation from other people in order to feel good about themselves, because once they have it, they have to keep having it and keep having it and keep having it, just like all of these other poisons and addictions. And it's, yeah, I mean, for me, that again, I think for a lot of us, we can all relate to maybe spending too much time scrolling through YouTube, or just being, on search engines or whatever, trying to find out some information about some stuff. Like, I always am. Not always. I've gotten better at it, but and I've definitely been trying to stay away from social media, because I know that YouTube is a form of social media as well, but for me, it's more of an information kind of thing. That's why I'm usually on it, for more information-based stuff rather than social stuff. Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot that I've learned from YouTube, from watching, truther type of content and informational videos. So it can be helpful, but we have to also take a step back and just like live our lives in peace. And I don't know how people do it with their notifications on their phone, when they have that, the sound notification and the light notification. I hate that. I have all of my 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 phone is set on silent. I don't have a blinking notification. It's just like I'll see if I'm on my phone, or when I come back to my phone, I'll see the pop-up on my phone. I'll see like the notification, someone messaged me or whatever it is, blah blah blah. Yeah, but I can't imagine my phone not being on silent and just having that go off all the time, or having the blinking stuff, because there's so many, like, it's all over the place, so many notifications, emails, everything. And so that's just a way that technology can complicate our lives, and has in the 21st century. And they're really not smartphones, they're actually, I like to call them dumb phones, because they have really dumbed people down. And the whole thing with the instant gratification, it's like you're like Pavlov's dogs, where you hear this sound, or you see this notification, you click on it immediately, you're like, oh my god, and you have to respond to the person right away, all of that. It's crazy, right? Okay, so let me see what else I have here in my notes. Okay, so the next poison that we have is one that I really don't have any experience with at all. And this one is gaming, you know, video games, things like that, where people are hooked on that. It can happen a lot to younger people in particular. And again, I've never been into video games like at all ever in my life. I don't know really anything about it, but I do know people who are hooked on this, and like they sometimes don't leave their room for like hours or days at a time because they're playing these games and they're so immersed in the world of the game that they forget about their real life. But again, so they're using it as an escape. Maybe they feel like they have a boring life, or that it's just not interesting, that they're not interesting, and then like they have these characters in these video games and this whole other interesting maybe fantasy world to immerse themselves in, and so they just go off and do that. And again, that can actually be life destroying as well. It really can, when people push aside all their other obligations and their relationships and family and everything for to live through these games, these video games. It's not good. Okay, so and the next poison that we have is, it's kind of two things. It's food and also sugar. So I combine them together because sugar is, I don't know if you can call it a food. It is something that you consume. It is in food. So a lot of times people can tend to eat their feelings, right? They use food as a means of escape. Maybe they're not feeling well, so instead of having a drink, like an alcoholic drink, they will just then go and binge on a bunch of like food, a bunch of unhealthy food, fast food, processed food, sweet food, sugar-filled food. And yeah, that's, you know, there are eating disorders. That's a very real thing. And it's very unfortunate. So yeah, like food, we need food, obviously. We need the right kind of food. We need healthy, whole food, not processed food laden with preservatives and chemicals that you can't pronounce and sugar. But yeah, it's like where food can be used as medicine, but in the case of where the food is a poison or addiction, it's used only in a destructive way. And so yeah, it's really hard. I don't know if I have experience with this really. I don't really think I ever ate my feelings. I don't know. I mean, I guess when I was younger, maybe I would indulge in stuff. And when I was like really like young, like little, like before I was 13 or 14, when I got into healthy stuff, but I did have like fast food and stuff, and I was kind of like addicted to it back then because it is addictive. And they put all sorts of crap in it, in that food, so-called food like substances, really, to make it addictive. Like MSG and a bunch of other crap that I don't even know. Nobody even knows what it is. Like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I definitely know people though who eat their feelings. They use food as a crutch. And you know, some people who they live to eat rather than eat to live. And sugar can be a big part of that because sugar actually works very similarly to how the illegal drug of cocaine works. You know, it's similar receptors in the brain and a similar reaction that people have to it. It produces a similar sort of response. And so yeah, sugar, I mean, it is really addictive. It's hard to get off of. I have been completely sugar-free for about um, what was it, like, 2.5 years? It will be 3 years as of about August of 2021 will be 3 years. So, and I have been completely sugar-free. And was it hard at first to transition to that? Sure it was. Like, it was, it was, and I wasn't eating processed foods. I was eating, stuff that, like, I mean, even like those other sugar substitutes like coconut nectar and stuff, it's still sugar. And so I had to quit all of it. I stopped all of it. No sugar. Yeah, I mean, maybe the first week was a little bit difficult, but it wasn't like I was a sugar addict. I never really had a big sweet tooth. I'm more of a savory person. So, like I prefer savory foods over sweet foods, always have. But, yeah, it's very hard to give up sugar for most people. Like, it's everywhere. It's in absolutely everything. And you always have to read the ingredients on everything to make sure that sugar is not in it. Like, that's what I have to do. I have to, like, read all labels and everything. If I see some packaged food, I try to avoid packaged foods, but if I see something like, and you have to read everything if you want to avoid sugar. And if you want to avoid a lot of other crap that's in stuff that's even worse than sugar, like chemical things like preservatives and stuff. Yeah, you have to avoid that. And I personally have to avoid preservatives. Like I said, again, because of being the highly sensitive person, the HSP, my system cannot tolerate preservatives. It makes me extremely ill. It produces all sorts of very bad reactions in me. So like I have to really avoid preservatives and junk like that at all costs. So, and honestly, that's a blessing of being an HSP, which again, like I said, that's not some kind of disorder, but it's when you're more sensitive to things, then it really shows you what's good for you and what's not. So I'm glad actually that I'm an HSP. So yeah, and if you want more information about being an HSP, maybe if you think you might be one, or if you're curious about it, you can just look it up online with whatever search engine you use. But I do possibly plan on making a video about it in the future, possibly. There are some other videos that I want to get out first, though. So I'll see if that happens. But I guess now that I said it, I have to hold myself to my word, because I said it on camera and I'm posting this to the internet, to YouTube land. So I have to hold myself accountable. Okay. So the next poison that we have in our modern world might be something very surprising to you. And that is the poison of work. Being addicted to work. Workaholism. It's a real thing. There really are a lot of workaholics, and just in general being addicted to busyness. And just the busier a person is, the more value they have according to our society. Like, oh, you have like 10 meetings going on today. Oh, look at you. You're so accomplished. You're so like successful. Oh my gosh, just look at you. And like you're running around with like a chicken with your head cut off, and that's supposed to be good. I mean, I can't do that. Like, I can't be busy to that point where I have no downtime, no quiet time to myself to think and just be in peace. Can't do that personally. But yeah, people just they work. It's like overwork, but they want to. Like, they feel that they feel that they have to, but there's also a certain sense of pride that they have in it, that they just they base their value and their worth off of just how much work they do and what they produce, and they just can't be still for a bit. And I think personally one of the reasons why a lot of people can be addicted to working all the time and being so busy is that they again, similarly to all the other things that I'm talking about, particularly similar to alcohol and other drugs, it's they don't want to take the time to reflect on their true selves, and they just throw themselves into their work. And working, of course, is very good. It's very good to be passionate about your work and about what you do, but there also has to be boundaries set between you and your work. A healthy work-life balance is very essential, in my opinion. You have to take the time to be alone with yourself, and you also have to have time for your loved ones and the people who are important to you in your life. So it can't just be all about work all the time. Also, that can lead to too much stress too if you're always working, and all sorts of health issues can come out of that. So maybe take time to slow down a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're at almost an hour now. I've just been talking forever. So this is a long video. I didn't expect it to be that long, but I talk so much. Okay, the next one that I have here is shopping. So some people might be addicted to shopping. They always want to get more stuff, more, all this materialism. And, a lot of times people with credit cards, like they have these credit cards, and so you don't need to have real money. You can pay it off later, most of it. And so you go into debt, and you just buy all of this stuff, and that you're not even going to be able to pay off all that debt, and you do it anyway because you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, or what have you. Maybe you're not happy with yourself. You think if you have all this stuff, it's gonna make you more valuable to other people. People are gonna like you more. Which, if anyone likes you because of the stuff that you buy or the stuff that you have, like, I'm sorry, but they're not your real friends. They don't care about you. So you're just wasting your money. And I like to have nice things. I like to dress nice, but I'm not out there shopping all the time, just trying to get more and more and more. Like, a lot of the stuff that I have, I've had for years. Some of the stuff my mom gave me, a lot of the stuff was thrifted from thrift stores and stuff, like vintage stuff. And it was very cheap, luckily. But just having to get new stuff all the time. And I do know some people who absolutely cannot wear the same outfit more than once. Like, they just can't. Like, I don't know. They think that it's horrible to wear the same outfit more than one time. So they just buy all of this. Like, I just don't understand that. That is insane to me. Like, I have some favorite outfits and clothing pieces and accessories that I like to wear often, not like every day, but on for special occasions or whatever, just when I'm feeling like it. So I can't imagine that. But right now we have online shopping with all that's going on, and not really being able to shop in stores how we used to. We have all this online shopping, Amazon, all of that. So yeah, people really get addicted to that. That might even be more addictive than in-person shopping in an actual store, because you're just doing it from home. You're on your computer or your smartphone, and you're ordering up all of this stuff, and it's just, you don't have to go anywhere. It's going to come to you. So yeah, let's maybe try to be less materialistic, and it's okay if you don't have the latest iPhone. I promise you, it's really okay. It's okay if you don't have the trendiest dress or whatever either. So, because trends change all the time. So Just ignore them. That's what I do. I ignore trends. I don't really care. I'm just like, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna wear whatever I want, whatever makes me feel good, whatever I like. So, and by the way, I've never enjoyed shopping, like in the store. Um, Maybe grocery shopping is, I don't even say I enjoy it, but like clothing shopping in particular, like in a store, actually stresses me out. I don't know why, but yeah, I never really enjoyed it. So I guess that's a good thing for me. Who knows? But anyway, the next thing that I want to talk about is the next poison is plastic surgery. Okay, so I'm sure that everyone has seen people who have overdone it, right? Who have really overdone it with the plastic surgery. Just a second. I need some of my hibiscus tea that I have here that I tried to make look like wine, but probably failed. It's okay though. It still looks cute. Looks pretty. Okay, so yeah, the next plastic surgery. Yeah. So everyone has seen people who have really overdone it. Like you can tell they had a lot of work done. And I personally know people and have seen like celebrities and famous people too, who wear like, once they have one thing done, then they have to go get another thing done, then another procedure done, and another procedure done. And like, they just never stop because they want to perfect themselves. They think they are so physically flawed and they need to be fixed, and they just can't get enough, and they keep going and going, and then they just end up looking like aliens or something completely inhuman. And believe me, I have seen a lot of plastic surgery disasters in real life, living where I lived in Manhattan in New York City. Like there were a lot of plastic surgery disasters walking around where I was like, it made me question, like, is it really that bad to have some wrinkles? Because, you know, a woman who's like 50 years old and she has tons of plastic surgery done, does she look like she's 25? She doesn't look like she's 25. She might not have wrinkles because of the procedure, but she just looks less human in a way. It just doesn't make her look younger. It just, I don't know, like, it's not that bad to have wrinkles, people. It's what happens naturally as people age. When we get older, we get wrinkles. Like, okay, you know, I mean, I don't understand this. Like, and yes, okay, it's important to take care of yourself, of your health, and to have a good skincare routine. But I mean, plastic surgery, really, like, you're gonna inject some substance into your face to not have wrinkles, to not move your face, because Botox, it freezes your face. You can't like move, and it just looks so strange. I mean, just, and when people overdo it, like they get all of the fillers, the lip fillers, everything, like the boob jobs, everything. It's just, it looks cartoonish, but people like that. They like the aesthetic, because also this goes back to like the porn thing, where in porn, a lot of these porn actresses, they have all of this work done and they look like that. They set this specific standard, and so by a lot of people that's considered to be attractive now, to look like a blown up sex doll. But is it really attractive? I don't know. And a lot of people that I've seen, pretty much everyone that I've seen who has overdone the plastic surgery, they looked way better before. Like, they just did. They always look better. Like, I don't understand. Why would you want to change yourself like that? You shouldn't, okay? Because your body is your body, and you can work with what you have. Everyone is honestly beautiful in their own way. Like, really, they are. There's different kinds of beauty. Like, I'm not a 6 foot tall, like, stick thin supermodel, Victoria's Secret supermodel, but I still think that I'm beautiful in my own way, you know? And like, it's okay to say, for you to say to yourself that you are beautiful, and to acknowledge your own beauty. And that goes for men as well. Like, you can acknowledge, like, yes, man, I'm a handsome man. I'm a good looking, attractive man, because it works both ways. Like, both men and women can be beautiful. So this is not just for women. Yeah, and so I mean, I've seen men with plastic surgery as well. Uh yeah, and it's not, yeah, it doesn't look good on anyone. Like when people do all that, and just these plastic surgeons who are doing all of these surgeries on the same people, like they're doing surgery after surgery. I don't know, they need to be held accountable. I don't know what they're doing, but it's just really wrong. Like it's morally wrong for them to be doing that, and they should be stopped. Like I understand they're making tons of money. They're making a shitload of money from that. But I mean, how do you sleep at night knowing that you fucked some people up like that? I don't know. But that's just me. Okay? Probably they don't think how I do, but it's okay. Oh, also on the subject of boob jobs in particular. So, okay, I know quite a few people who have had breast implants. And some people who've had them for many years. And a couple of these people have actually come down with breast implant illness. It is a real illness. It's because the implants, they leak all this crap and these chemicals into your body after a certain amount of time after they break down. And so it's just not good. They got really sick. I know someone who had to have surgery to get them taken out, and then she had to have a fat transfer using her own fat from other parts of her body. Oh, I saw 11. Wow. Okay, this video is so long. But anyway, I just have a lot to say about this. So, yeah, ladies, please, no boob jobs. You don't need breast implants. Your natural ones are perfectly fine just the way you are, I guarantee you. And they're all beautiful, whether they're like huge watermelons or they're just like, cute little ones. They're all great and amazing, okay? And if a man is going to love you or be into you because of your breast size or just your breast in general, he has to go. Like, I'm just sorry. Like, this is not someone who really cares about you or loves you for you. This is, it's probably just a fuck boy. So, or whatever. It doesn't have to be a boy. It could be an older man, but like, you don't need someone this superficial. So, okay. Just putting that out there. It's getting late, so I'm getting a little bit sassy because I've been on here for over an hour. Oh my gosh, an hour and 12 minutes. Anyway, the next one is also based on appearance. The next poison that we have is tanning. And so going out into the sun, getting a healthy amount of sun exposure daily, getting that vitamin D is very important. But when you become obsessed with tanning and you want your skin color to be a certain way, and like you think you only look good tanned and like that, then it becomes a problem, and people become so addicted to damaging their skin that way because they think they look good like that. And I actually remember back when I was, in high school, I believe, yeah, when I was in high school, that was when it was extremely trendy for white women to look orange or whatever, like just to be really tan and like use self tanner and go to the tanning salon and use tanning beds and get natural tan from the sun, which is hard to do year round in New Jersey though. So a lot of people went to tanning salons, they used self tanner and like it would look really orangey, and so people weren't happy with their natural skin color. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, any skin color is beautiful, whether you're like as white as a piece of paper or as dark as a raven. It doesn't matter. It's all beautiful. All the different variations of all the different skin colors are beautiful. So someone who is very dark skinned should absolutely not want to change that and bleach their skin and become lighter skin. And then same thing goes for someone who is very light skinned and wants to be darker. Like, no, you're fine just the way you are. I promise. Like, really. And like for me, I mean, maybe you can tell, but I don't tan, never have. So, yeah, I personally like being pale. I like that aesthetic. I pretend I'm a vampire sometimes. I like to joke that I'm a vampire. But I can only do that if I'm pale. Like as a white woman, I can only say that I'm a vampire if I am pale. Because if I tan, then it's like, well, vampires don't go out in the sun, so how would you be tan as a vampire? But anyway, this is just me going off on a tangent. But yeah, like when you tan, when either out in the sun or with a tanning bed, you are damaging your skin on multiple levels. And I think we all, both women and men, want our skin to look as healthy and as youthful as possible for as long as possible. We don't want to prematurely age. I think most people don't, right? So going tanning, it is only going to accelerate that process, and you don't need it. But again, at certain points it's trendier, and trends change all the time. Like when I was in high school, and possibly even now, I don't know, I don't keep up with trends anymore, but I don't know what they are. But like I said, when I was in high school, that was a trend for white women to look really tanned. And then there are still other trends throughout other countries throughout the world for darker skinned people to look lighter, like that they want to look lighter, where it's completely screwed up. I mean, people just need to accept their own beauty, like I said, because everyone is beautiful in their own way. Beautiful, handsome, whatever it is. But yeah. Okay, so next up is maybe a surprising one, and this one is exercise. So exercise, again, of course, is very good. We absolutely have to exercise and stay active physically. But there does come a point where people overdo it, just like with the work. This one is very similar to the work poison, because it's just like, people just get so into it. They get so addicted to exercising because exercise does release endorphins and makes you feel good. But it's when you can't overdo it, because you're going to be stressing your body too much. And you have to know when to take it easy. You can't just be exercising all the time. I do know like one person who used to be my friend. He would just be in the gym like all the time. Like his life was all about the gym. And I just don't think that's very healthy. Mentally, physically, it's not. Like there are other things in life besides exercise, besides the gym. So yeah, exercise, great in moderation. But when people get addicted to it, it's like, they want this perfect physique or whatever. They want like to look like a supermodel or whatever, to have six-pack abs, whatever it is. Like we don't need that, okay? Like you're fine just how you are, just staying physically active at a in a normal way and not overdoing it. It's totally fine. So the next one might also be surprising. The next poison that we have here. This one is thrill-seeking behavior or risky behavior as an addiction. So these are the people who are the adrenaline junkies. They live for that thrill. Once they have one thrill, they go on and do something else that's even riskier and whatnot. Like, first they go skydiving, then they go do something else that's even more like whatever. This is real because adrenaline, you get that adrenaline rush, and that in and of itself can get really addictive. So, I mean, I can't really relate to this that much, but I will say that when I first started performing, like on stage, when I first started that, I would get an adrenaline rush. I would be nervous, excited at the same time. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm gonna be on stage. And yeah, it kind of, like, I can see how that would get addictive, but I don't know. Am I addicted to, like, it's not really risky behavior. I'm definitely not impulsive enough to be addicted to risky behavior. I like overanalyze things all the time. So there's no way that I would be addicted to risky behavior. It's just not part of my personality, my innate personality. So yeah, but I mean, I guess I am addicted to being on stage. I don't know if I'm addicted. Like I mean, so for the past almost year, live theater has been canceled, right? So I haven't been able to perform on stage since the last day was actually March 15th, the same day that I left New York. I performed in the afternoon. That evening I was supposed to have another show, it was canceled, and I went to stay with my family in New Jersey. But yeah, you know, being on stage, it's not about the adrenaline rush for me, but it's just the way that I express myself and the way that I interact with people. I do like to entertain people, and I like to express myself in that particular creative way. But yeah, it's not, do I get a rush out of it? Sure. Like it makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, you know? But yeah, but like I'm not like, I don't know. It's not for the attention. It's not for the, I don't know. It's not for the adrenaline. There definitely is a rush there, but again, it's not a risky behavior, I think, right? Like to me it doesn't seem like a risky behavior, but who knows? Maybe for some people it might be. I don't know if people have never been on stage before in front of a lot of people. It can definitely be nerve-wracking. But also, I will say, this is just kind of a tangent, but I do get more nervous, much more nervous when in live performances, you know, on a stage, when I know people in the audience, when I have like friends or family who are in the audience and I know they're there, I get nervous for that. When it's just a bunch of random people that I don't know, I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm so excited. I'm usually not nervous. I get nervous sometimes. But I mean, when was the last time? Again, it's been almost a year. So I've had to resort to virtual shows like Zoom and stuff, but it's of course not the same. Not the same at all. But you know what? I might do a performance for my YouTube channel. I have something up my sleeve I think that I can do. So it's like a solo thing. And I might do that because that particular act feels very relevant right now in my life. It's not something that I just came up with. I originally came up with it about almost 2 years ago. It will be 2 years in the spring for that. But so I might present that on my channel at some point, possibly soon. Okay. So the next one, the last one that I have here is the poison of love, or really not true love, not real love, but what people think to be love these days, which is like attention, people giving you their attention and validating you. People get really addicted to that. That's why the internet and social media, smartphones, that sort of ties into that. But this also can be like attention in real life, where people always have to be the center of attention, or else they don't feel good, or like they just have to dominate everything, or else it just like they can't live with themselves. I've seen and known people like this, and these are not fun people to be around. It definitely takes a certain personality type to be someone addicted to attention. So yeah, it's this only concerns certain people, whereas I believe everything else that I listed here, perhaps besides the thrill-seeking behavior one, which again, that's also kind of a for a specific type of person. But the other ones are widespread, I think, for people of all kinds of personality types, you know? So, but being addicted to attention, I do see a lot of this because I'm in the entertainment industry, the arts. There definitely are people that I personally know who, again, always want to be the center of attention, and like, just it's hard to be around them. But just my point with this particular one is that it's totally okay to not be the center of attention and to just do your own thing. Just you know, you don't need that validation from other people. Like, you really don't. And there will always be haters. People are just not gonna like you, or people, whatever, just for whatever reason. But you have to be able to love yourself and be okay with being alone with yourself. And that's what a lot of these addictions are about, though. They're when people are not okay with being alone with themselves. I think I said that already, but again, I'm losing my mind over here. It's late. It's like, oh my God, it's almost 3 a.m. But that's okay. So I'm pretending right now that I am out at a social event and I'm talking to people. Wow, if I was really talking this much at a social event, people would be like, what is she doing? There's no way that I would ever talk this much, like in real life, in person at an actual event. I don't think there's any way. It would be like, I don't know, I'm too awkward and shy for that, in my opinion. And like, I don't really talk that much, but I am right now because it's just me and the camera. And I guess once I put this on YouTube, it's going to be anyone who comes across this video and watches this. But I do want to wrap this up because it's way too long. It's over, it's almost an hour and a half now. But anyway, I hope that was fun for you. I hope you got something out of that. It's maybe not the most polished presentation, but that's okay, right? Because it doesn't have to be perfect. And that's why I haven't edited my videos on here, is because, you know, I just come on, I turn on my video, my recording on my video, I turn it on when I come on, and then I turn it off when I'm done. And I watch it afterwards to see if what I said made sense. But then I post it and I don't edit anything in between, because we don't need to be perfect. We can just be ourselves, and because life isn't perfect and there's no need for a video to be perfect. And like, I actually am seriously a perfectionist, but I'm trying to not be one in some ways. So, yeah, it's hard. Perfectionism is hard though. But anyway, like I said, I want to wrap this up. Let's see. I do have another tea here, because if you watched some of my previous videos, you do know that I like to have my tea, and I have some quotes on my tea usually. Today I do. I have a chamomile here, and I have a ginger tea. I combine them in one cup because they're good together. It's spicy. I like it. It's a strong ginger tea. Okay, so what does this say here? We have one quote here. Okay, prosperity is within us. That's great. Absolutely. You are all prosperous and abundant within yourselves if you look in yourself and don't look for all of these, you know, external and material signs of it. You know, you have wealth within yourself. So I agree with that. I like that. What is my other quote here. What does this say? Okay. This is the longer one. Oh my gosh, I can't grab it. Okay. Life is best lived by focusing on your goals and dancing through all other distractions. I love that one. Okay. Yes, exactly. This is exactly what I've been saying. So, yes, you do exactly focus on yourself and getting to know yourself too. You have to, people are afraid to get to know themselves, their own selves. So again, that's where addictions come in, all these distractions and everything. We don't need these other distractions. It's okay to be quiet and just in peace and tranquility, okay? And it might not be peaceful or tranquil, but it might be hard, but you should still do it. You should try, okay? So, and it's funny that it says dancing through all other distractions. I feel like that's specifically targeted towards me because I feel like I'm being called out on this because, like I said, I do dance and I do plan on doing a dance act, an original performance art dance act, present it on here, perhaps, you know, record it and then put it out here on my channel. So I might actually do that this week. I don't know. I have to see what I'm doing, but yeah, if I do it, I'm excited. It's going to be fun. I haven't performed in a while, even virtually. I haven't. So it's going to be fun. And actually the act itself is sort of serious, but it's one that means a lot to me. So, and like I said, it's very relevant right now to me. It's how I've been feeling. So, yeah, I don't have anything else to say right now other than just try your best to stay away from all of these poisons that we have, all of the ones that I've listed, and just know that you are enough. You have everything that you need within yourself. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I will see you next time.